Okay, don't be overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed. So on Friday, before spring break, go ahead and open to page 1. We went over a lot of things about circles, parts of circles. And there were a lot of parts to the circles. So that all of those pieces come together throughout the chapter. So we're not going to talk about arcs today. Remember we talked about arcs? We're not even going to get to arcs. Arcs is in lesson 2. So you'll see arcs, measuring of arcs tomorrow. Okay? But today, all we're going to really talk about are the radius. The radius is just from here to the outside, right? And then the diameter. What's the diameter? The whole thing in the middle. So how many radii make one diameter? 2. Okay, so we're going to talk about radius. We're going to talk about diameter. Do you remember what a chord is?
The thing that's like...
It can. It doesn't have to, but if both of its endpoints are on the circle, we're going to go over that again. We're going to talk about circumference.
That's
What's
the
area?
Of the circle, right?
That is the outside of the circle. So, on Saturday, my husband and I took up all of our landscape in our whole front yard. So we pulled out tons of bushes, like old bushes, like bushes that have probably been in our house since forever. Okay, so we literally put ropes around these bushes to try to drag them out with 4-wheelers and then cars and trucks because we were not strong enough. And it literally wouldn't even pull it out with the truck.
You need a hand.
So we got it. We got it now. Thank you so much. But the whole point of this was afterwards we were starving. And we went to this place called Post Office Pies in Birmingham. And we ate the whole pizza except for one piece. My husband mostly. Not so much me. But if you're thinking about a pizza, the whole point of that story was to get you to the pizza. If you're thinking about a pizza, it makes a what? Circle, hopefully. That's the goal. Okay? If we want to find the circumference, that would be like following the crust all the way outside the pizza and measuring it. The circumference is all the way around the outside of the circle. It's not the area. It's not the volume. It's just the outside of the pizza crust. So how much pizza crust was there? Well, that's the circumference. So find the circumference. It's all the way around. It's like if you literally were going to say how many steps, how many feet does that circle make on the outside? And you have to go all the way around. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so first things first, we talked about how to name a circle. There was a symbol. What was that symbol we talked about?
A 0 with a dot.
It's a 0 with a dot. That's how you name the circle. So in example A, the name of the circle is, well, you put your circle with a dot in it. That's the symbol for circle. And you always use the vertex, which in this case is just. So the name of this circle is circle O.
Oh, it's so weird. It's like 0 and 0.
Circle O. Okay, your radius is anywhere from the vertex to the outside of the circle. So if you're looking at this picture right here, the top circle, circle O, how many radii do you see? 4. Because how many lines come from the vertex? 4. Now, y'all put your heads up, please. I know it was really, really hard when our alarms went off this morning, but we got this, okay? So, if you see 4 circles coming from the vertex of the circle, I always name the radius starting with the vertex. You're not wrong if you don't, but I just like to go from the inside out. So, one of the radius would be 0A. So, that's the name of the radius, OA. What's another one? OB. What's another one?
OC.
What's another one?
OB.
Good. Okay. So those are just the radii. Radii is more than one. Name chords of this circle. A chord is any line that goes through the circle and both of its endpoints touch the outside. So is this diameter a chord? Yes. But there's also another line. Both of them have to touch the outside of the circle. So another chord would be called CD. So there's 2 chords. We would name them AB and CD. Could I say BA and DC?
Yeah.
Yes, we could. That does not matter. Okay? You try 1 through 4 on the next part. You try. If you're done with 4, go ahead and try the rest of them. Go ahead and try 5, 6, and 7. Mm-hmm. Maddie, tell me what the name of the circle is. Circle R. Good. Jay, how many radii do you see? 4. Will you name them for me?
RB, RY, RX, and RA.
Good. Okay. Name chords of the circle. Melody, how many chords do you see? Okay, I see 2. I also see 2 more. So how many should there be? 4. Melody, what are the 2 that you see?
AX and YB.
Yeah, good. You're right. AX and YB. But you can't forget that the diameter is actually a chord too, right? Anywhere that goes all the way through the circle or just part of a circle as long as the endpoints touch the circle. So another chord would be AB and XY. Which those 2 were diameters of the circle, right? So that's going to be the same thing for number 4. Okay, if AB is 18, April, if the whole diameter is 18, what is just a radius? What's the measure of 1 radius? 9. Good. 9 what? It's always just cut in half. Okay, so if RY is 10, if RY is 10 inches, James, what's AR? 10 inches. So, Lily, what would AB be?
20 inches.
Yes, good. Are AB and XY congruent?
Yes.
Because all diameters of the same circle are all.
Yes, it's a fact. So yes, AB and XY are congruent always because the diameters in the same circle are always congruent. Diameters in the same circle are always congruent. Why do I say same circle?
Because the diameters of the circles are all.
It changes from circle to circle, but if it's in the same circle, then they're always the same. Okay, that is radius, diameter, chords. That's basically all we talk about in 10.1. But if you flip to the page, there's another part of 10.1 that we have to get to called the circumference. We just talked about the circumference. It's like the crust of a pizza or the topping of an apple pie. Am I making anyone hungry?
Yeah.
No. Okay. So, a lot of sugar? Yeah. Okay, let me think of, you could have a cauliflower pizza. They have those at Trader Joe's and they're actually really good. Okay.
I'm cool.
Just trying to.
I was so polite.
Just trying to help.
No thanks, I'm cool.
Okay. All right, so there's two formulas for circumference. They're the same thing, though. Because you either have to have, what do you think the D stands for? You either have to have the diameter or the radius. Depending on which one you have, you use which formula it goes with. Okay, so the radius, how many radii does it take to make one diameter? 2. So if you're going to use diameter, then you just multiply it by pi. But if you have one radius, then in order to make that get to the diameter, you have to multiply it by 2. Does that make sense? So when you have the diameter, it's just pi times d. But if you have the radius, then you have to first double it to get to the diameter, and then multiply it by pi. Okay? So either one, they both give you the same thing. So in this first example, what are we given? Radius. So that means we're going to have to do 2 pi r. So they've already have their 2 pi r. 2 pi, so your radius is 13. And 2 times 13 is 26. But when they see this, like the approximate, that means they want a decimal. So in your calculator, you actually need to press 26 pi. Let's go ahead and round it to 100. So the answer would be 81.68.
I thought you said round it to like 100. I was like, what? His is 81.
Oh. So the circumference is either 26 pi or 81.68 centimeters. How do you know which one you want? How do I know if you just want it with pi simplified or with pi as a decimal? The approximate sign, or if you look down here, we're not here yet, but it says find the exact circumference. That means decimal. Does that make sense? Because it's exact. If I want exact, then I don't want to have to plug it in my calculator to find it. Okay, so first, before we get to these fun-looking ones down here, let's do the even more fun.
Even funner.
I was going to say even funner, but funner is not a word. But I still use it. Okay, what are we given? What does the C stand for? Circumference. And what do we want to find? And the radius. Okay, well keep in mind, the formula for circumference is C equals pi times D. Well, if I have the circumference and I want to get the diameter by itself, how do I get rid of pi? Divide it. So in this case, if I have 40, set that equal to pi times D, and to get your D, you just divide it by pi. So your diameter is just 40 divided by pi, which would be, let's keep rounding it to hundredths. I got 12.73. Well, once I'm at my diameter, how do I find the radius? Yeah. Okay, let's keep going straight down to 3 and 5, and let's do those. You can do them, but I'm going to kind of walk through them, and then we're going to do 2, 4, and 6 by yourself. So if I'm given the circumference is equal to pi times D. So to find D, I just divide 15.62. Divide that by pi. So your diameter is 4.97. Well, from there, to get your radius, you just divide that by 2. So I'm going to round it to 2.49.
Do you put the measurement on all of these?
Yes, I would like you to. Thank you. Okay, so if the circumference is 79.5, that equals pi d. So to get the diameter, 79.5 divided by pi. .31 yards. And so the radius is going to be that divided by 2. Okay, you try 2, 4, 6. Brian, are you bored?
What? Time.
Miss Billy, you need help if you want to help her. Check your answers when you're done. It's just kind of repetitive, right?
Yeah.
These are very repetitive. It's the same thing over and over and over. Don't worry, it doesn't stay like this. Do you believe me?
No. Yes.
I don't know, do we have to prove something in the circle?
Well, you missed our whole chapter on proofs, huh?
No, like proving something in a circle or in the multi-dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to do proof something? I was gonna crash meeting.
Proofs for trade.
For example, they give the points outside the circle. They give some information in the circle. And
Okay.
They make us to find the stat or prove this line is equal to some of the line in the circle.
Yes.
I'm number 6 for the radius, so I got 32.5.
Okay.
64 divided by
64.99 divided by 2. Oh, yeah. You could round that to 32.50. Okay. So now we get to the fun stuff. All of these have a circle. But what do you see inside this circle? Triangle. It's called inscribed. Inscribed. It's in the circle. So when it's inscribed in the circle, we can use parts of this triangle. So the hypotenuse of this triangle is also the what? Diameter. Is this, what kind of triangle is this? Right. That's significant because we just did a whole chapter on right triangles and how to find the missing pieces, right? So, use it. Use everything you know. This isn't just circles and we're not using anything we learned the first 3 weeks. We are. This is a right triangle. You know 2 of your legs and you're missing your hypotenuse. Well, what theorem?
Pythagorean.
We use Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse. So, because that's also your diameter. So step 1, we need to do 8 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. It's a triple?
Multiple.
Which one? 3, 4, 5.
By 2.
Oh. Okay. So if you don't recognize that it's a triple, in your calculator, 8 squared plus 6 squared gives you 100. So 100 equals c squared. Take the square root of c and 100. So your diameter, aka your hypotenuse, becomes 10. Well, the whole point of this is to find the exact circumference. Exact means we want a decimal. So circumference is equal to pi times d. Well, the diameter is 10. So to find the circumference, you just do 10 times pi. And it doesn't say so, but let's go ahead and just round to 100 like we have been. So you get 31.42 centimeters. That's how long it would take you. It would take 31.42 centimeters to make it all the way around the outside of the circle.
This isn't bad.
It's not. Okay, look at 8. What do you realize about 8, besides the fact it's a right triangle? It's isosceles, which means two sides are the same. So if one of the legs is 9, the other leg is 9. Well, if two sides are the same, two angles are the same. And if it's a right triangle, it has to be 45, 45, 90. Yes? Mm-hmm. So if this, 45, 45, 90, if this is 9 and this is 9, then this is, say it. Come on, Ashanti. 9 square root of 2. Remember that?
Oh!
Yeah, we did that like a lot. If this is 9 and this is 9, then this is 9 square root of 2. So your diameter is 9 square root of 2. Plug it in your formula. Circumference equals pi times d. Well, in this case,
9 root 2 pi.
what? Well, I want a decimal. So pi 9 square root of 2. So circumference is 39.99. That is awfully close to 40. It's about as close to 40 as you can get. Okay?
I would prefer 9 root 2 pi. It's a little more available than
Okay, I'm sorry. But the instructions say to find the exact. And we gotta find it. Okay, number 9. What is inscribed inside the circle this time?
2 triangles.
Which make a rectangle. Yes. So, but you can still use pieces of these two triangles, okay? So if this height over here is 3, what's the height over here? 3. So again, we want to find the hypotenuse. So 3 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. Don't try to simplify the square root. Just give us a decimal. 3 squared plus 7 squared, square root of 58. 7.62. So that's your diameter. So C equals pi times 7.62. $23.94. Is that what y'all got?
I haven't written so long in this hand.
Okay, you try 10, 11, and 12. You try.
I think like exact measurement, that's mean you didn't round to anything.
Hold on, homeboy.
How do you do this?
Well, what are you getting?
11 yards.
11 yards from the top to the bottom. So what is that?
So
The whole thing. So
What is it?
all
Two.
It's a square.
So that's the diameter.
Right, yes.
Okay. So you divide by 2. You get the.
We don't need the radius if you know C equals pi d.
Never mind. Okay.
So you're given the diameter, that's it.
I get it.
From here to here is 11 yards. So that's your diameter. So pi times d, well, your diameter is just 11.
Do we also write the formula every time?
You don't.
This leaves the approximately
Huh? Okay, those are my answers.
Why wouldn't it be 4? Because
Well, what kind of triangle is that?
it's a 4 times 45.
So to find your hypotenuse, you do square root of 2 times square root of 2. Right? And then square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4, which is 2. Can I bring your attention to number 12? Because it is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, right? So take your leg, square root of 2, multiply it by what to get the hypotenuse? Root 2. So square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of
4.
And the square root of 4 is? 2. Yes. So 2 pi gives you 6.28. Okay? Alright, if you flip to the next page, you see your practice. I want you to do all of these. Don't mark out, but you may skip for today, number 8 and 9. But we will get to them, so don't cross them out. Just skip them for today. So on our skills practice on page 3, we're going to do all except 8 and 9, just for today.
What is his name? A. Brady?